Okay, this isn't going to be the best quality video, but it's probably the only one that actually says anything about assembling the Grand-in-Road Plantation chairs. I looked on the internet, couldn't find anything. So basically I'm going to just go ahead and build out one of these units. And we'll see what we got. It would have been pleasant to, I always like to check out video on these before I go ahead and build out anything. I have been building out a lot of furniture between remodeling the house here and refurnishing it. One thing I've learned is that you want to be prepared for a mess, because manufacturers certainly don't want to end up having to replace these products if they were damaged in the shipment. So you have an inordinate amount of packing in these things. And I find that I can fill up several garbage cans full of styrofoam and cardboard, and in some cases pieces of wood, you know, on the corners or whatever. And it's just a fact of life if you have an assembly product. Having assembly product, of course, makes it less expensive because it cuts down on freight. So there's good and bad as far as building out products. I'm going to use this as my workstation because I really don't want to have the wood or the finished wood on the floor. Actually, I guess I can use that too. And I don't know if you can see this. Really can't see it that well. It doesn't really matter. The point is that everything's got its little spot. I've got 33-gallon trash bags here, and I expect that I'll be filling up with all the styrofoam. The one thing I do suggest before you start to break things up is to check several things. One would be, let's see, normally they have, oh, here it is. Where is it? Yeah. Okay, they normally have something set up for parts, screws and bolts and clips and whatnot. So you want to make sure that's there. And then I generally go with the biggest pieces first. This is one side. And since I'm in the process of setting it up, I will take off the skirts and set this to one side. And then keep unpacking. Looks like okay, here's the other part of the structure, or the chassis. Set these over here. I'm putting them catty corner from each other because this is obviously the inside. Might as well be looking at both insides. Again, I don't know how well that's showing up on the video, but I'm trying to talk you through it too at the same time. Doesn't look like this is going to be a build out for the faint of heart. So if you have no talent for building things, you better hire somebody. I can tell that already. Don't need to look into that too carefully. I think that's just the case. This looks like part of the cedar back or whatever. And again, it's okay to take off stuff, but you want to try to remember how it was packed just in case something horrible happens, like missing parts or busted up corners or whatever. They may or may not be able to replace the piece. And they do demand that you put it in its original packaging. I think all they can really make you do is put it in the same box. It doesn't have to look pretty, it just has to be somewhat protected. So this can all be jammed back in there with styrofoam around the edge, and you can send it back. But I do not recommend breaking up the styrofoam until you're in a position where you know you don't have to repack it. Of course, you can't see all the parts here. There's the three pieces apparently for the back and bottom. So I just wanted you to be able to see that. Again, I'm videotaping this thing with my Nikon because my regular camera just isn't working. So again, it's not going to be the highest quality, but I think you'll get it by the time I get done here, that what's required. These look like cross structures, or struts rather. And they're well protected. And they got, everything has a alpha on it. This is E's. And the nice thing about virtually all of this type of product, the fact that they have, you're going to have a couple of E's and a couple of whatever these will be, and they're interchangeable for that location. So you don't have to worry about whether one fits the area that you're trying to install or not. They're going to both fit the same way. And I haven't run into anything in my process of build outs where that isn't the case. Look. Okay. So that's everything. It's in the box here. And I'm going to go ahead and remove this stuff, break it down, and put it in the trash because that's the best way to go about it. That way you're not building up junk all over the place. I'm building this inside instead of outside because if the styrofoam pieces and stuff are going to blow all over the yard, here you can vacuum it up pretty easily. Okay, this is what comes in the way of hardware and instructions. And like every other build out, it's very basic. So you better have some kind of idea what you're doing before you do it. It looks like you start out with the right side frame. You put all the cross beams on. It looks like there's 4 of them. The big fat one. There's 2 different kinds. Big fat one looks like it's got a double dowel, and that would be for the ends. There were ends on both sides. And then I guess this one here is below the seat for just a cross beam that will stiffen the structure. Comes with, looks like, scissors. Comes with the plugs for the exterior screws. I generally set those aside. I generally put plugs in after I've tightened the frame and actually moved it into the area I want it in case the floor where you're putting it, in this case will be outside the patio, in case it's not quite level. You could still adjust it until you've tightened the screws down tight. And once you've done that, and you put the cap on, the dowel caps, it's real hard to adjust it after that. So you really don't want to finalize it until you put it in place. Looks like, according to the instructions, there's two different kinds of bolts, machine bolts. You got an 1.5 inches and an 1.25 inches. Looks like there are four, 5, okay, and then on the 1.25 inches, what do we got here? Looks like it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So okay, we got the pegs. We got 2, 4, 6. 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh, 9. Okay, well, it looks like what they're doing, because it can't be an odd number, it looks like they're giving us an extra one of each. Not sure why. Maybe they don't trust their count. But at any rate, these are all the parts. You're going to need a Phillips screwdriver. You're going to need a mallet, and I would suggest a mallet, not a hammer. So if you can, you should get, prior to your units coming in, you should get a rubberized plastic mallet, which one way or the other, because these, I'm assuming that part is going to get jammed into the frame, and then this part would go into, I assume, the bottom or sides. So those are the parts. Okay, the instructions say to start with the right unit, the right side unit, and I'm assuming when they say that, it's as you were sitting in it, not as you face it, so I guess it would be this one. And going to need one F and one E at the front, and one F and one E at the back. You're going to need 8 of the 1.25 inch bolts that will actually bolt to the chassis. So, looking at, the right hand side has to be done first. So basically, you look at this. This has 2 dowels on it, assuming you can see that. If you can't, I'm sorry. It'll only go in here one way. So basically the easiest way to do this is just go ahead and place it and screw everything down, each one of these down until they're what is called finger tight. To me, it's just right down until it's, gives me resistance. I don't want it sloppy loose. I just want it, no effort to tighten it down. Same thing with this. There are holes here. I'm assuming that, I don't know if this has been an insert, a wafer insert, and that's, doesn't matter. What you're going to want to do automatically when you see a hole, always face it down, because you're not going to see it if it's facing down. If you face it up, you might not see it in the front, but you'll see it in the back, or vice versa. So a good rule of thumb is to always face holes down. I'm assuming it was holding that wafer. I was thinking maybe it was diode, but it looks like maybe it's an insert. Okay, so there's that. You can let this kind of hold it up. side. I do the bottom first this time, because to make sure the holes, this is E, make sure the holes are facing down. And I'm not using power tools on these. It's a bad idea to use a power tool. You never know the quality of the wood. But I think in this case the wood's pretty good quality. But the point is, once you mess something up, you mess the whole thing up. So it's much better policy to do it slowly, do it by hand, and you're not going to regret it down the road. Okay, the instructions say to lay this down, and with the support struts facing up, of course, and then basically we would install the back and seat. This is going to require these pegs. I don't know how you can see it, and the instructions make it sound like that they go into the units themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and do some outside there, because you really need a workspace for that. And I'll take the camera out there and we'll see what it looks like. Again, I apologize for the quality of this video. No close-ups, because I'm doing this on my Nikon because my regular camera is not working. So you're not going to get the detail you would normally get, but bottom line is these all have holes, partial holes drilled in them, or they're all the way through. If they're all the way through, they're meant to be screwed through to the frame at the end of the build out. If they're partial, they're meant to have one of these put in it. Best way to handle that is, I guess I'll come around here so you can see at least partial how this works. You want to have something supporting this so that you're not banging onto the ground or stressing these joints. So you take this, I think, let's see, I'm going to use the plastic. Yeah, that works pretty well. Same thing with this. Straight, crooked. Okay. And then I'm going to have to go over here and I'll be in the way of the camera, but light. I'm going to have this basically so that it's as close to the leg of your work table as possible, so you don't get the vibration or as much thereof. And here. This is D. Then you have what's called the middle panel. And this one has, of course, the hole all the way through, and then the partial. So the partial gets two of these. That's a lot easier. Let's see if I can break this and put that in easily. Yeah, whoo! That's unusual. Okay. That's in. And in the back, this would be the top probably, because it's got the pin, and these would be the where the screw comes into the chassis. So let's see if I can get away with it. If this goes in easy or not. Nope. which is fine. Actually, I prefer it not easy. That way it's not going to come out again. By the way, you can pull these out. Just takes a vice grip and a little wiggle action, and it comes right out. These things come right out. So at least that's been my experience when I've messed up. Okay, so these are all ready to go in. Okay, we're back in the house, and we're going to place the seat portion into the frame. This is D with the 4 pegs on it, steel pegs. And let's see what this does here. Does it go this way? Yeah, it looks like it goes this way because this kind of meets this support strut. Let's see. Alright, that fits in. Then we got the mid section, small in the back maybe. I'm not sure what you'd call that, but here there's 2 holes drilled in, but one is for, oops. See, even I can mess up. Got to put a peg in this one. Be right back. Okay, well actually I didn't mess up. This happens to be the one where the pegs are loose. So actually what happened is the peg fell out. It's strange. This is the only one like that. But I guess, you know, things vary. So it goes this way. One is for the peg. And then there's another hole there with an inserted nut that will end up being screwed in. Let's try it. Let's see. Well, we'll see. Okay, so then here's the back. And again, the pegs would be at the top because this curve, you want to be able to have a comfortable seat. They look pretty big. They should be able to take large people. I'm not sure about, I guess small people can curl up in them and get comfortable maybe. So let's see, okay, that looks good. So 2 pegs, hole, peg, both sides. Now what we do, according to the instructions, we place the left side over all the parts. Now, I guess I'll start here because there's more holes to begin with to line up. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. But that's what I'm going to do. So let's see, we got come on now. Gotta kind of do them all at once here. And that's not going to be fitting like that. Move, okay, so these are all lined up. And we go to the mid one, which is C, which try and line that up without losing all the spots. There we already got it. Ah, damn. Alright, let's see. Maybe. Yeah, okay. Yep. That's good. And then we go here. This should be fairly easy. It's farther away from everything. Okay. Now I made a little tool that I use. Basically it's to protect the finish. Basically it's a piece of scrap 2x4 that I stapled a double thick cloth on so that I can hit these down so that it all comes together without wrecking the finish. Let's see, okay. Hopefully everything's lined up. Let's see. Are you lined up? I think so. Hope so. Let's see. Okay. You know what? I know what it is. It's this. There we go. Yeah, that's it. Okay. That's all the banging that has to be done. Then we take a bunch more of those, 4 more of those 1.25" screws. And we do like we did on the other side. This is kind of funny. It's like they didn't finish that very well, but then it's going to have one of those peg covers anyway, but still. And again, you just do these until you meet resistance. Don't tighten them down, you'll be sorry. I guarantee it. Okay. And here we go. These have all been 1.25". All the screws that I've used. These are machine screws. Now, you take 4 of the 5 1.5", and these, according to the instructions, will go into the hole that goes all the way through, and it will reach the embedded nut in the wood. I suggest starting it by hand because sometimes it's a little off center, and if you force it, you end up stripping the nut or the bolt, and then bummer. Now I'm going to tighten these all the way down because they're not going to change the way this chair will sit on the floor. The leg, it's really the leg adjustments and the it's basically the outside adjustments that will balance the chair once you're done. So I'm making these tight. Okay, so that 2 screws on the C section, and then this was the B section back. That's interesting. And again, you go to the place where there's holes all the way through, and get them hand started so that they don't strip. Tight. That's it. It's simple. So. Okay, assembly is done, but to finish up your chair, you need to put it in a permanent location, have somebody sit in it, or you can sit in it and move around until you don't hear a leg rattling against the floor, and go ahead and tighten all the outside screws as hard as you can. Also, once that's done, you still need to put the plugs, the vanity plugs, on the outside to cover the screws, and then you've got a chair that should last a long time. So again, I apologize for the quality of this video, the fact that it was done with a camera instead of a video recorder, but at least it's something, and hopefully it'll help you in the future.